The Indian game begins by controlling the important e4 square with the knight, rather than a pawn. c4 builds a strong center by controlling the important d5 square and creates a square for the knight to come to c3 without blocking the c-pawn. e6 opens up a line for the dark-squared bishop and prepares to castle quickly, while preparing to push a pawn to d5 and recapture with a pawn if captured. Knight c3 develops the knight to fight for the e4 square and to control d5. In the Nimzo-Indian defense, bishop b4 pins the knight on c3, preventing it from moving or protecting e4, and threatens to trade, disrupting white's pawns after b takes c3. Queen c2 defends the knight on c3 and continues the fight for the e4 square. d5 takes space in the center and attacks the c4 pawn. a3 attacks the bishop on b4, forcing black to retreat the bishop or exchange the bishop for the knight on c3. Bishop takes c3 check captures the knight and puts the white king in check. Queen takes c3 recaptures the bishop and supports the d4 and c4 pawns. Knight e4 places the knight on a supported center square and attacks the queen. Queen c2 retreats the attacked queen to a square, where it still defends the c4 pawn and attacks the knight on e4. c5 takes space in the center and attacks the d4 pawn. d takes c5 captures the pawn and controls b6 and d6. Knight c6 develops the knight toward the center and controls the squares d4 and e5. White develops the knight and attacks the center. Black will be winning a pawn with that fork. This blocks the check from an opposing queen. That pawn was free for the taking. This is the only good move. This blocks an attack on a pawn. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. Recaptures. After all captures, this is an equal trade. A solid recapture by white, bringing a new piece into play. Castling kingside tends to be safer than queenside because the king is further from the center. One more piece joins the action. The rook is now on an open file, which helps control squares across the board. This connects the rooks, which helps them work together. The rooks can see each other now, allowing them to provide mutual defense. This kicks a queen. This moves the queen to safety. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. This is a fair move. This moves the bishop to a more active square, making it gain scope. Black activates the last piece, bringing all pieces into play. The piece finds a new active square. This creates space for the king to move in case it is attacked. This creates luft for the king, providing it an escape square. One of the best moves. This offers to exchange pieces of equal value. This is an equal trade. Takes back. This is the strongest option. Right on target. This wins time by threatening a rook and forcing it to move away. This threatens to play checkmate. This blocks the attack on a pawn that could have been captured. White's bishop has moved to a square with greater activity and control. This threatens to capture a bishop and win material after the follow-on trades. This stops the opponent from being able to tactically win a bishop. This offers an equal trade of pieces. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. Recaptures. This evades the check from the rook. This is the only move that works. Recaptures from a previous move. This blocks black's pawn. This moves the pawn to safety. This fights against the other rook for the open file. After all captures, this is an equal trade. Takes back. That's fine. A solid choice. This activates the king in the endgame by getting it off of the back rank. A very strong play. This moves the bishop to a more active square, making it gain scope. This moves the knight to safety. This is an equal trade. Recaptures. One of the best moves. A solid choice. This steps away from the checking knight. Very precise. This is the strongest option. This defends a pawn that was under attack and had no defenders. A very strong play. One of the best moves. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. This creates a pawn chain, linked pawns that form a strong structure. Right on target. A solid choice. This moves the bishop to a more active square, making it gain scope. A very strong play. This moves the bishop to a better location, allowing it to control more squares. One of the best moves. Very precise. A solid choice. This is the strongest option. This is the only good move. This defends the attacked pawn. Right on target.